In the northwestern part of Papua New Guinea lies the Sepik region, a land rich in tradition and potential. For decades, cocoa has been a part of life here, but now it's more than just a crop. It's a catalyst for transformation, economic, social, and environmental. This is the story of the cocoa revolution in the Sepik region.
Sunlight, mas kisim kakao, asbro kakao sudah kakao jadi karim.
The European Union funded support to rural entrepreneurship, investment and trade in PNG is driving this transformative journey to shift mindsets of people from subsistence way of farming to semi-commercial farming. It is a collaborative effort involving the EU, various UN agencies, the government and the local communities, aims to uplift rural areas through sustainable agribusiness and capacity building, already benefiting over 83,000 farming households.
This program is, the European Union has, I would say, a programming cycle for which we had, during those years, to support rural entrepreneurship, investment and trade. So in 2013, we presented this program to the member states. The EU make the design because this is decided by our 27 member states, and they agreed that we should follow for this ambitious program. We discussed intensively with our PNG partners, at this time and still now the Department of National Planning and Monitoring, and other stakeholders. Then it was decided that the region that we would target would be East and West Sepik. The question is why? It's because it's one of the biggest regions in PNG. It supports a lot of what Strait is doing, and also there was a high value that this program would develop for the sake of women, for the sake of entrepreneurship. And since we have agreed in 2019 to sign what's called the financial agreement, and then what's called the financial committee in Brussels decided to pour 85 million euros for this beautiful program. We have to say that it was a tough decision to make by our member states. It was well defended by the European Union and the Commission, and at this time we were now launching our most ambitious program in the Pacific.
Islau something for polymer cereals. Islau Thomas.
There are 5 United Nations agencies implementing the EU-STREIT PNG Program, and they are the Food and Agriculture Organization, International Labour Organization, International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations Capital Development Fund, and the United Nations Development Program.
All of the work in the UN is here to support the government's own National Development Plan. Now they're in midterm development plan number 4, and the Sustainable Development Goals are 17 goals, but oriented around improving the lives of people, protecting the planet, and promoting peace. And this EU-STREIT program really addresses those key issues in an integrated way. So ultimately, it's a program to help rural communities, remote communities, to strengthen their economies, improve the positions of women in those communities, help them access export markets, improve infrastructure, access to clean energy, access to banking services, and access to internet and technology. So it's a nice package bringing together those core elements, but ultimately it's about protecting communities, vulnerable women, but also building a long-term peace. And we know that many communities in Papua New Guinea and in the world struggle to maintain peace within communities and between communities. But when communities are strong economically and that everyone has a place in building those economies, that does go a long way towards building a lasting peace.
For years, rural farmers, especially women and youth, faced crippling challenges. Cocoa yields averaging a mere 1,800 kilograms per hectare and an average household income from cocoa production of just 759 kina, trapped in cycles of subsistence farming.
You got 6 kilos times 5 kilo me buy.
The systemic challenge before the intervention the farmers faced was in terms of quality planting materials. It's one of the main challenges that farmers were facing. Types of training, like for the government sectors, we cannot cover all the areas, so those are some of the systematic challenges that farmers were facing. And then smoke taint bins, farmers were facing there. Before, the main barriers rendering support to the farmers before the program was lack of government funding support. Most times the farmers in South, but the funding support was not on time. So basically the main barrier that renders.
About 300,000 farmers in the two Sepik provinces were constantly faced with challenges that hinder their cocoa production.
Now all come up with the name all come up with the name of one or snow not slab. Now tell Nubla will come up with no name call him slab. Let's name him the name well start this. Name call him name slab Mupa.
Kapia, a local cocoa farmer in Saparu village along the Yua tributary of the Sepik River in the Engoram district of East Sepik province, shares the challenges he faced, especially when setting up his cocoa business, the Mupa Cocoa Group, in 2003.
Mupa was initially initiated in 2003 after I graduated from Kainetis College as a primary school teacher. The reason why I initiated Mupa and being the founder behind that is all because of the challenges that we face in the community in terms of income generating opportunities. Because being raised in the village, in the community, our monies that we earn for our school fees were very challenging in those days. We have to float down the rafts and generate our income. So that's the idea I initiated Mupa, and it's a clan business group. Initially, it is a clan business group that is only for my clan members to help them so that they can plant cocoa and also have their money while I work for the government and get my salary. And my family also earn their living from the land that we have in the community. That's the initial idea behind the inception of Mupa. Biggest challenge that we face in our environment, especially in Sepik River and the tributaries of Sepik River, is the flood. Now, we normally have annual floods. Recently, we have the flood in 2023 to 2024. It's almost 8 months of being flooded. This place, all this place was flooded. We all paddled the canoe here. That's where we are sitting right now. So most 75% of our trees are being killed, being damaged by that flood. And also we have the cocoa pod borer before the flood. The cocoa pod borer was the very devastating disease that affected all our farmers. And one of the very challenging thing here, we are living in Uat, which is more remote. So you have to travel down Uat River to main Sepik River. Then you choose either to go to Ngoram or to Kandwanam. And after at Kandwanam, you have to get on a PMV to Wewak. The transport cost is very high. 75% of our people don't regularly travel to town because they cannot make it with the amount of money that they have. So what we're emphasizing now is we have to plant more cocoa, you have more money, so you can meet the cost of travel.
In West Sepik Province, Joshua Wyatt, another cocoa block owner, says one of the main challenges faced in the past is the lack of technical knowledge on the cocoa drying and fermentation process.
All plant fermentary, paya fermentary. Yes, some plant result mi no sawe kam lo disla quality. Big plant through sumuk paya. Mi sa cooking lo paya fermentary, all normal fermentary, but mi all box, all big plant box, size box, but diabetic and lick. Or mi big plant fermentary all box again, big plant net box lick. Inokat standard fermentary mi sanabim longin. Nokat mi sa cook solo. When way mi cook longin.
The EU-STREIT PNG program brought together global expertise and local knowledge to tackle challenges holistically. From training in modern techniques to innovative renewable energy, ICT and financial tools, each element was carefully designed to transform lives. The program focuses on the 3 value chains of cocoa, vanilla and fisheries, while at the same time providing an enabling transport infrastructure for the value chains.
The core of the economic support of this program focusing on agricultural value chains. And the key one really has been cocoa. Cocoa is a big success story for Papua New Guinea and the 2 Sepiks. And fortunately, this program was implemented just at the time that global cocoa prices were about to really take off. So that's been a huge boom for those provinces and the industry as a whole. But what this project did, what FAO brought in, was better technologies, more robust and climate resilient seedlings that allow them to increase productivity. So productivity, those same farmers increased their productivity by 75% at a time when global prices were booming. So that brought in much needed resources. But it's not just about the agricultural part, it's also, well, how do you get the goods to market? So we need to improve rural infrastructure, particularly roads. And what you see is rural communities in times of heavy rain, those roads get washed out. So you can have months where it's very difficult to get goods to market. So addressing those infrastructure needs, helping communities use labor-based approaches. Ordinary people can fix their own roads with the right kind of technology and support. So labor-based infrastructure programs, focusing on roads, but also some ports, as well as airport strips, has been critical. And then the technology aspect. How do people access markets these days? They must have access to quality internet services. They must learn about different approaches for marketing through the internet. So bringing in that internet support through ITU, set up in schools, has been very critical. And of course, electricity. How can people do any of this without access to stable electricity supply? So that solar energy, clean, green energy in rural communities, often set up in schools, creates a center for accessing internet, a resource center for teaching. It's a very critical part of this equation. And then when you have money, what do you do? Well, one needs banking services. With banking services, you can store your money, but you can also borrow money to grow your businesses. So what we see is a lot of women entrepreneurs making money through the export sector, but then growing their businesses, getting small loans from the banking system through a UNCDF supported credit facility. So all these things coming together quite nicely. And ultimately what you see is communities are thriving, and women in particular are leading this change.
Under the cocoa component, various interventions were undertaken to address identified bottlenecks in the production of cocoa in PNG, especially in the Sepik region. The interventions include establishment of budwood gardens, cocoa nurseries, provision of cocoa pod borer resistant seedling varieties, distribution of kiln pipes, and solar dryers for fermentaries plus capacity trainings.
The program under the cocoa value chain started with capacity building training, mainly on the budding techniques, where the rootstocks are cloned to be cocoa pod borer tolerant seedlings, and that is the main key skills that the farmers, general farmers, learned from the program. That we developed a nursery, and in the nurseries that all these farmers were trained to do the budding, together with the support also from Cocoa Board and the DAL officers, that we trained many farmers so that they can go back to their villages and clone their own seedlings with the bud sticks they received from the certified budwood gardens, so that they can rehabilitate their old cocoa blocks with the new clone seedlings, which confirm the increase of the productivity. That is the main skills that we delivered for the availability and accessibility of the clone seedlings to the communities. And in addition to that, for the productivity, to increase the productivity, of course, the block management, proper block management of their cocoa blocks is very important. The seedlings itself cannot bear quality fruits without proper block management. So the program also trained many farmers. We worked with around 351 groups, cocoa groups. So we trained all of them, the lead farmers from each groups, for the block management as well as budding training. So with this, the proper block management, pruning of the trees, shade trees, the cocoa trees, and also the cleaning their fields, blocks, and visiting their field more often will ensure the increase in productivity.
Yeah, I'm only filing knife first time. Na knife le orai ta. Alright, na. Two boys.
Oh, mas kono mo te.
Yo klay ayat.
Adi, tayan. Ano ko na? Name dumi Damaris Wyatt. Nami on pla young pla mama. Nami on pla female farmer. Me work underneath law. Why nam agrochemist. Time planning kakao finish. Me no sabe law. Aku plus strategy. Aku plus managing. So me come law school law straight. Na am lain mila plan ti something straight na. Au law straight kakao mino sawe lang all lain milong au blog katim rausim all brands where am nona blog mi kakao lem mi kan katim rausim na. When bla board kaina sem ka sik langen mi kan rausim na planim lo all. Okay, narapla side time kakao mi kat wara iron long mo kaina sem mi kan oki drain so mi luki plant school mi sila disla up lo side lo straight program na mi oki disla himi plant
kama okay belakang sudah wait midla mama na midla bo.
So far, the program has already trained more than 17,000 farmers in bed grafting, integrated pest management, block management, and climate smart agriculture, which are critical to improving the productivity of cocoa. As well, the program has supported 1,272 agribusinesses or agripreneurs in training, capacity building related to operation planning and development. This is also important for sustainability of the MSMEs. 300 cocoa MSMEs were established by the program and they were trained as well as provided the necessary support, material support as well. As far as the improved cocoa seedlings is concerned, the program has provided and supported the planting of 3.1 million improved cocoa variety seedlings that are tolerant to cocoa pod borer. 569 bedwood gardens and cocoa nurseries were established and upgraded as a result of the program. 120 cocoa storage sheds are being supported or established by the program. 500 existing cocoa dryers have been rehabilitated by the program through provision of the necessary materials like kill pipes and accessories, which assist in avoiding the smoke taint in the cocoa processing. The program has also supported 2 cocoa processing factories, is supporting one in West Sepik and has already supported one in East Sepik. I will repeat this. The program is supporting 2 cocoa processing factories in East and West Sepik with the provision of state-of-the-art cocoa processing facilities and equipments which would help them to produce cocoa powder, butter, and chocolates. Last but not least is the program is supporting the Queen Emma in the Paradise Foods Limited company to upgrade its capacity for high-end chocolate production for the global markets. These are very few highlights of our major supports to the cocoa value chain. As far as the outcomes or impacts from this support is concerned, the survival rates for seedlings has increased to 95%. And the program has supported rehabilitation of nearly 5,000 hectares of cocoa blocks, revitalizing cocoa farming in Sepik. Yield from the cocoa blocks has increased by at least 32%. This is the minimum yield increase. There are cases of more than double in well-managed blocks. The program was also organized and strengthened 330 cocoa agribusinesses, which is fostering community and collaboration. Program created about 5,227 permanent job opportunities, which is boosting the local economies and engaging communities in gainful employment. The profit margin from cocoa production has increased by 59% at least according to our computations, which means there are more revenues and more money coming to the communities to improve their livelihoods. In general, the program has restored the economic viability of cocoa production in the Sepik region, motivating farmers to revive the abandoned cocoa gardens.
The work of EU-STREIT Program contributes significantly to the National Agriculture Sector Plan 2024 to 2033 by covering 42 local level governments and collaborating with 750 farmer groups.
There are 5 big targets that the medium-term plan 4 requires of agriculture in the next 10 years. And we've translated that to the agriculture sector plan, 2024 to 2033. So there are 5 big targets in this 10-year period. The first is that agriculture sector must deliver 30 billion GDP per year as we reach up to 2030 to 33. So number 1 is that the GDP contribution by agriculture, where it sits now at around 20 billion per year, we must go up to 30 billion in 10 years. The second contribution is that the agriculture sector must create 2 million direct jobs. That's the second. And the third is that the agriculture sector in that 10-year period create an increasing number of MSMEs, micro and medium enterprises of up to 450,000. And now the 4th and 5th really deal with the issue of the Human Development Index in PNG, which is at 0.5, which is from low to medium. It does not portray well for Papua New Guinea. And now, so we have to look at the alleviation of poverty of the people of our country, which sits at 40%. So if indeed now our population is at 11 million or so, then we've got more than 4 million people that are living below the poverty line, according to the UN. And then the 5th target, and so for that 40% that are in poverty, our 4th target is that over the 10-year period, we must lower our poverty level from 40% to 20% or below over this period. And the 5th target is that also in terms of malnutrition of our children across our country, we've got a 48% starting rate of children below 5, and this we must work from the agriculture sector, and with the health and the education sectors, we must work actively to reduce this level of stunting of children under 5 from 48% to less than 10% or so. Let me say that the STREIT project, funded by the EU and implemented by the FAO in the East and West Sepik, has been a beacon of light, beacon of hope. And in enabling us to achieve this GDP contribution, enabling us to achieve in creating employment for our people, and has enabled us to create small, medium enterprise businesses and giving people the money every week, an income from cocoa and vanilla and fish that they would not have had, or that level of income that they would not have had in the past 5 years. Now they've got that raised income level. And with that, they are able to buy good food and good clothes and be able to send kids to good schools. And therefore that malnutrition status, and the people of the East and West Sepik, I'm sure that they do eat better food and better nutritious food every evening now than they used to 5 years ago. Yeah. So it's a positive thing that's happened for the East and West Sepik in terms of the rural development and the livelihoods of our people.
Apart from the technical assistance and providing an enabling environment for cocoa production, gender mainstreaming is one of the important components of the program. It integrates gender and youth perspectives into the cocoa value chain. A key focus is identifying and addressing gender-based barriers that affect participation and sustainability.
I think one very important issue which this program is doing very well is inclusivity. Inclusivity as far as, for example, women empowerment is concerned, youth is concerned. The program was guided by a very robust gender strategy, gender and inclusion strategy, and which is budgeted and which has a very clear and measurable indicators. So it is very critical for any program of this type to have a deliberate gender strategy, gender and inclusion strategy, and it should be budgeted, resourced, and there must be clear indicators to measure the impact. This way, the development or the economic gains will be equitably shared between different segments of the society. I think these three are very important lessons.
Now, in most farming groups around the Sepik region, women's contributions are valued and recognized by the menfolk. Women are now taking part in decision-making and developments in their respective communities.
Sepik, it's a predominantly male society. So most women they are seen as just assisting with the cocoa farms, and then in terms of selling the cocoa beans, they are all left out. They are not actively participating in getting the beans. But with the program, most women are participating. In terms of youth, most of the youths are not participating, but now they are seeing the importance of going into cocoa farming here.
For many farmers, these efforts have been life-changing. With new tools and support, they have built sustainable businesses and better lives.
Emblo waina mosem. Bipla brother kam starting this work, em like him mosem. Bipla mas rausim morota, putem kapa. Bibla mas rausim pasin blo koksim wara long hol o baret wara bibla mas gateng wara. This la problem blo school pi I mas finish. Tok plungen im true. Na mi blo brothers mi blo family mi blo pani mosem ami no kama. Mi blo lukem real tok plungen now em come up straight lo live blo mi blo sla pa blo brothers na mi blo stop.
Mani lo kakao ab go long school biblo piginini ab em was lo school blouse lo buy more pot late or something or same. Okay, big plat through mi bla salusi le side lausik because mi bla stop long way through long ausik na mi bla salusi big pla mani molo side lausik side. Na all pigini lo mi bla sta long way to lo school mi bla simol go lo side to school problem ta so mi bla simol go big la mani mi bla salusin lo school lo wara tu lo bain petrol lo sena go bain PMB car ken na mi bla ko se wane ma bol pigini ni sta mi bla mas lusi mani ken lo travel ko lo wane ma bol sta na mi bla ko give money lo.
The technical skills farmers learned from the program have significantly assisted them to improve the quality of cocoa beans through the production process. That is from tree to the factory. Queen Emma Chocolate, a subsidiary of the Paradise Food Limited, is a key player in the cocoa value chain when it comes to processing and marketing of cocoa byproducts.
Queen Emma strengthens the cocoa value chain by providing open and honest feedback. That's really what it comes down to. Farmers who are identified under the EU-STREIT program are referred to Queen Emma by the technical team in WEWAC. We connect with these farmers. They provide to us samples that are produced out of their cocoa farms, out of their dryers. We process them here in the factory. We test it according to our quality standards, and we provide feedback. I think that's something that is very much lacking at the moment. We're not about just meeting some export contract. The markets that we supply are very high-end, very high-value boutique specialty markets, and our customers are very much quality focused. Yeah, so it's really important for us to share this with our farmers and help them to build their knowledge and make sure that they are delivering a quality product to the Queen Emma factory for us to satisfy the needs of our customers. And I believe, by providing this open and honest feedback to them, they're able to improve on their methods. I think without that, it's just going to be another cocoa being supplied to the bulk mass market.
The local chocolate company noted that due to the improved cocoa beans and the exposure through the assistance of EU-STREIT program, local cocoa groups have secured markets overseas.
Along the Yuat, there's a group called MUPA. They have a fantastic leader, Sperian Kapia, and his cacao is one that has been selected by one of our customers in New Zealand. They're called Weave Cacao, and we produce a finished chocolate for them. It's a couverture product, which means that it's used by chocolate producers, it's used by caterers, hotels, bakers. So it's a very versatile product. It's actually here. So this is the product that we produce for this customer in New Zealand, Weave Cacao, and it's made with Mupa cacao. So it was, this kind of achievement doesn't come easily. He was selected because he produces a very high quality cacao product that they can use, and the flavor that they identified is very superior. And I think it has a lot to do with the vegetation, the surrounding of where he is, and it complements the product that they wanted us to produce for them. There's also another customer in New Zealand who is called the Cacao Ambassador, and her product is made with cacao beans that come from Kusambuk, a fermentary in Kusambuk, and the farmer's name is Terence Lafinguan. And so we produce for this customer the Cacao Ambassador, cacao mass, cacao nibs, cacao powder, cacao butter. So all these products, and this customer actually on-sells it to other chocolate makers in New Zealand. So a lot of people are using products produced with Terry's cacao beans. So we're quite happy with that. And I think, that they are a cooperative, but I would say within these two groups, there must be at least 50 to 60 households who contribute towards these two groups. So the more orders we get, and this year we'll be producing 60 ton of this product. So you can imagine we will need at least 100 ton of cacao to produce this product for them this year. Yeah, they've grown quite a lot. Yeah, it's initially the first year we produced 6 ton, then it went to 10 ton, and this year it's jumped dramatically to 60 ton.
Very fortunate that STREIT PNG has exposed us to Singapore in 2022, in Food and Beverages Expo in Singapore 2022, and that's when it gives us the opportunity to connect with Paradise Foods. That's when I met Karina. And we talked, and that's why we have the connections, and we have the chocolate and had a partnership with the New Zealanders at the moment. So from the New Zealand trip through STREIT PNG, it gives us the opportunity to connect to Paradise Foods. And from Paradise Foods, it connects us to Ona Brown in New Zealand. And from New Zealand, Ona Brown had visited us in 2023 with STREIT PNG team and Cocoa Board. They're here with us, and in 2000, and also from that trip, we have the opportunity to connect with IPA, Investment Promotion Authority, which they've invited us to participate in third PNG Europe Business Conference in Mosby, APEC House in 23, and also in 2024, 22 and 23. These are the opportunities been created through STREIT PNG when they expose us in Singapore, and that's all eventuated.
Downstream processing of cocoa products in PNG is one of the long-term goals of the EU-STREIT PNG Program. Therefore, it has supported Queen Emma to acquire new chocolate processing machines to boost their production rate.
It'll be a game changer for us. It's going to take our capacity now from the 20 ton that we produce to almost 158 ton we'll be producing. In terms of cacao, that will mean that we will every month be requiring 200 tons of cacao. That's about 15, if I have to do the math, I think it's about 15 containers a month, and most of that will be coming out from the Sepik. It will mean that we will have an export quality product, very high quality product. It will mean that we can produce, it'll open up doors for us to expand our portfolio, make all kinds of different chocolates that we don't produce now. The equipment that's coming is just going to open up so many opportunities for Queen Emma. It will give us opportunity to employ more Papua New Guineans and really just grow our chocolate portfolio.
The impact extends beyond individual farmers. Improved value chains and inclusivity have led to collective prosperity, with communities funding schools and health posts. One classic example is an aid post along the Uat River that was supported by the Mupa Cocoa Group. It is a crucial support that is much needed by the local community for their medical needs. Most of the villages along the Yuat River spends around 150 kina to travel upstream to Biwat Health Center for basic medical services.
Biwat, Yuat Center. Slayer Center startup Biwat and all missing locality. So maybe so service lab. But then cost me 6 to 7 gallon fuel or go back. So now fuel price is around 50 kina. Big money. So I'm maybe use 200-300 kina water. Look, is one blood tablet. It took love Panadol and one blood Panadol. Amoxicillin, 2 blood amoxicillin. Big money on that.
Sandra time we say using transport. As a mibla got money, mibla buy fuel, mibla go. Like si album lausik. No what? Mibla use road law about. Road to in a close to em long way. Mibla sa go day go sleep. Then mibla go sim album lausik finish. Mibla go about kenaka. Now I'll see them stop in. Mibla pilim say more right. Misi le mibla again. You see, sunny le blessed the mibla. So now wait for some sun up. More right lo. Misi mibla come. Excel bim lausi mibla go lo laus bim again.
Isa lo lowa Yuat. Mibla no got service pa. Lo mibla anduar community. Maki mibla area now at post stop. So lo said this la also game paket al mibla lo. Tubla workman must have save mibla. So is major post. Bla mibla la lo way one.
Jets building now is an up stop. Plenty time, long time. Dunia bimi sawe yusi murata, lo making kind of also same, also to jets. But long now we play through the program. Tayo mi work one time na sa assistance, the program, financial assistance. Kami play na by kapa, na mi play by cement. Kami lo making at least yung put jets where we na produce.
Every journey has its challenges. The EU-STREIT PNG program faced hurdles, but through resilience and collaboration, farmers adapted and found success.
I think the biggest lessons learned from the STREIT program is one is a holistic intervention. Holistic, or you may call it integrated intervention, is fundamental to the success. The reason is that different organizations within the UN family, we are 5 United Nations agencies, bringing in different expertise and different experience on the table to deliver as one. So holistic and integrated program is very critical to success and very important for replication. The second one is joint delivery. It's not that people, different agencies come together, but they have to jointly plan and they have jointly execute and jointly monitor. So, and not only between the UN agencies, but the joint implementation with government counterparts is also fundamental to the success of the program. I think this is one of the key strong lessons that is emerging from the program.
With the success of the EU-STREIT PNG program, farmers will continue to benefit from sustainable practices, contributing to the national economic growth.
Life long time mi lugim lem, emi lugu semem at lomi so. Now mi plani kakao lo future blomi now, all pikini blomi. Mi basali mo logo lo school because mi got kakao mi planim now. So problem mi facing lem lo time stop yang pla esa sumatin. Emi facing lem emi rausim so mi stick on lo future pikini blomi. All bo misali mo golowan public school na almas kama workman o workmeri lo future.
The successful implementation of the program is based on a good collaboration with the PNG government, European Union, the 5 UN implementing partners, the provincial government, and the local farmers. By working together, stakeholders can ensure that the program's success is scaled and sustained for the years to come.
So what we're trying to do is build a partnership between international development partners and the government, both at the national level and at provincial level, to take this to scale across the country. So we see some provinces that have already put their hand up and said, please come. We've had some technical exchanges. You know, the UN works very closely with the Bougainville, the autonomous region of Bougainville, building an economy there that's not just focused on natural resources, not just mining, but also moving to other sectors, agriculture, and the potential for cocoa in that province to expand production is very real. So looking at maybe 5 or 6 provinces initially, and having some co-investment between government and development partners and the UN working together would be the way we want to go.
The success of the EU-STREIT program in the East and West Sepik has been noticed across the country and indeed across the Pacific. And people from different parts of PNG are requesting the same, and particularly the southern region of PNG. We are talking to government departments, the Department of National Planning and Treasury. At the same time, we are talking to donors, the EU. We will I will talk to the EU, approach them, and to other donors in the country to see if we can partner and to deliver the same positive results that the STREIT program in the East and West Sepik has delivered. So it's a work in progress in terms of replicating this STREIT project that in the East and West Sepik of which we've seen.